contributing factors to define what makes an individual a leader, one being their ability to empower others beyond measures. I am a firm believer that the two individuals you're about to see in this short video embodies great leadership, and I'm fortunate to be a part of their lives. Mike and Ashley Rentz. Quick sidebar before we continue. You may or may not know that October 16th is National Bosses Day, and I've decided to slightly tweak the assignment by putting together something special. Now, does Mike and Ashley know that they're also being filmed for this reason? Absolutely not. This should be fun. What you got to say?
About who?
Mike and Ashley.
Who are they?
Oh, really?
What territory are they working in? Oh, the owners. They're great.
Yeah.
Super great people.
We
Very
love
sweet.
Mike and
Love them to
Ashley.
death.
Yes.
They're going to see this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we definitely love them.
Mike and Ashley are the owners of The Perfect Light, a Christian organization that honors God with services provided in the marketplace and prides itself on operating with integrity. Since 2001, the company has grown significantly and now has locations in Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, and Austin. Great leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. One of many ways that Mike and Ashley do this is constantly seeking and providing opportunities for others to develop within the business and strategizing around key objectives that leads to accomplishing goals and ultimately experiencing a great amount of success for both the company and the individual. I'd say their focus game is A1, which enables them to make a difference in many people's lives. Get ready to take notes on a little advice that I asked them to share with us.
Okay, so best advice I've ever received was from my mentor out of college. I went to work for him, and we were driving somewhere and just chatting, and I was about to make a decision, a personal decision based on where I was going to live and housing. And he said, look, I want to tell you something that I learned later in life, so that you don't make some of the same mistakes I made. But he said the difference between the lower, middle, and upper class is that the lower class thinks in terms of day to day, the middle class in terms of week to week, and the upper class in terms of generations. And so the point is make short-term decisions based on your long-term objectives and the outcomes that you want, over an extended period of time, not just what's best in the here and now. And so it was a concept of being principled and being disciplined and being patient and making decisions.
Awesome. Rentz, what is the best advice you've ever received?
Okay, the best advice I've ever received really came directly from the Holy Spirit through someone else, but it was when Michael and I were first getting married. We were in a premarital class, and we were walking through Ephesians 5, which is, women or wives, be submissive to your husbands. And the person who was facilitating the meeting with us in the counseling asked me to read it and then asked me to define what it meant. And I didn't know. I was a young girl. It was really the Holy Spirit told me that being submissive to my husband it was being submissive to God ultimately. And so that made it so much easier and more palpable to actually follow that direction from the Bible. And it has never failed me in our marriage. It has, and Michael's made it very easy because I know that he is definitely following the Lord, and it just makes it easy for me to be in place and be in line. And in all things that we've done in our marriage, my willingness to let him lead in the relationship has done nothing but blessed our family and me. So that was great advice as a young person.
Awesome. What advice would you give to the next generation?
Advice to the next generation would be that what many people perceive to be bad, quote unquote, like inconvenience, difficulty, frustration, confrontation, failure, that isn't bad at all. It actually is a product of whatever your attitude is and your perspective on life. And so when those things come to you or things happen that seem like they're bad or difficult, it's actually a good thing for you, and you should embrace that and be grateful for it.
Awesome. Thank you.
To not lose connection with the past. So as we get further away from events that happened, you know, in this country's early beginnings, the further we get away from that, it's like generations forget about it, and they forget the trouble and what we've come through, you know, as a country and as a people. An example of that is like the Great Depression. The further we get away from the Great Depression, which is a wonderful thing, we're not going through that, and this generation doesn't have to go through that, and that's wonderful, but you can't forget about it either, so that you don't, lose sight of the lessons that were learned in events like that. That would be it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Guiding us and preparing us for that. And when I the second packet that's really thick is just the notes outline of that deal. It was very, very detailed. We did a lot of stuff in that time together, and I would have never suspected that we would have been able to accomplish all the things we did. And the fact that COVID came and a lot of us were not distracted by the day-to-day stuff, but kind of locked down into our own environment and able to just work and just get stuff done was extremely helpful.
I've witnessed so many compelling qualities within these two, such as resilience, empathy, humility, passion, trust, problem solving, transparency. I mean, the list goes on. And just in case you're wondering what's the best advice that I have received from them, here it is.
Only one thing counts in this life. Get them to sign on the line which is dotted. On the line which is dotted. Line which is dotted.
Okay, so the last clip was a little insider from Mike and Ashley, which is true. However, some great advice I've received from the both of them would be, one, to never fear taking a risk. And the second came most recently during a conversation with Ashley when I needed the encouragement the most, which is to own it. Own your visions, own your dreams, own your mission, own your goals, own your passion. Just own it, right? I mean, of course, own your mistakes, own your responsibilities. But I needed to hear those two words during that very time, which was pivotal because I was lacking the confidence to advance to the next level, to go and produce in a greater measure. So I'm on and on as to why I selected these two as examples of great leaders and leadership empowerment, but I don't have enough time for that, right? However, Mike and Ashley, I do want to take the time to say thank you. Thank you for knowing your why, going the way and showing the way. Thank you for everything that you do. I can only imagine the great amount of sacrifice and everything you've had to endure to be so successful and continuously doing great things. Thank you for being selfless. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for your stewardship. Thank you for your service. And thank you for your heart and your vision. For just seeing in me greater things that I have not seen in myself. And I'm just grateful for every opportunity. I thank you and I honor you guys today. So to the viewers, I hope you have been inspired without even meeting these two individuals by me being able to provide just a little bit of insight on their life, who they are, what they do. If you would like to know more about the company, visit www.theperfectlight.com and get more information. But in closing, I hope you enjoy just a few bloopers, and that's it.
My class projects. Why can't I get this down?
Will you please add these to bloopers?
I just may. Okay, here we go. Ready? Absolutely not. This should be fun. That's trash. I look down right at the end.
Well, the last question that I have is, who's the best dancer?
Oh my gosh, Michael for sure.
I need proof. Just kidding.
That's the best advice you've ever received, Carson?
But it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through.
Oh, whatever.